Right now you're warm. A dial on the wall, a furnace that clicks on the second the air gets cold. You barely notice it. You go from a heated house to a heated car to a heated building, and the coldest part of your whole day is the 10 seconds it takes to walk between them. For you, winter is an inconvenience. For most of human history, it was a killer. And it didn't come at you with one weapon, it came with four: cold, darkness, hunger, and the animals that thinned out along with everything else. So how did people with no furnace, no grocery store, and no real walls make it through, year after year, for 100,000 years? Start with the cold itself. Humans are, biologically speaking, a tropical animal. We evolved in Africa. No fur, no built-in insulation, nothing. Left out in freezing air, a person can slide into hypothermia in a matter of hours. By any fair measure, we're one of the worst-equipped large mammals on Earth for winter. And yet, our ancestors walked straight into Ice Age Europe and Siberia anyway. Fire helped, but fire has a problem. It only warms the side facing it, and it doesn't follow you when you step away. What people actually needed was a way to carry warmth with them. That's where clothing comes in. Not a hide draped over the shoulders, which lets wind pour in everywhere, but sewn clothing. Hides cut into shapes and stitched into a sealed layer that traps warm air against the skin. That required a needle with an eye, a sliver of bone ground to a point and painstakingly drilled through, some examples over 40,000 years old, and thread made from sinew. Sewn clothing is arguably the single invention that let our species leave the tropics and colonize the coldest places on the planet. Next problem: shelter. Caves worked, but good caves were rare and contested, so most groups built their own. At Mezhyrich in Ukraine, people 15,000 years ago raised dome-shaped huts out of mammoth bones. Jawbones stacked like shingles, tusks arched over doorways, because there was no wood or stone to be had. Inside, they lined floors with grass bedding. Some finds go back 77,000 years. Then sealed every gap in the walls with hides, turf, even packed snow, since snow itself insulates. A shelter wasn't just walls. It was an engineered system built to stop the wind from finding a way in. But a sealed shelter tied to a fire needs constant fuel, which meant people couldn't roam. So their food had to already be stored close by. Which brings us to hunger, maybe the deadliest threat of all, because in winter the land simply stops producing. No berries, no roots, animals scarce or hidden. Survival became a math problem. Gather enough in warm months to outlast the months when nothing new arrives. So people got serious about preservation, drying meat over smoke so it couldn't rot, burying kills in permafrost pits that acted as natural freezers, and rendering fat into a dense, storable, calorie-packed ration. In winter, fat mattered more than meat, because staying warm burns enormous energy, and fat is the densest fuel the body has. Cold, shelter, hunger, 3 threats down. The fourth attacked the mind, not the body: darkness. Up north, a day might bring a few usable hours of light, followed by 15 hours of black cold, with the same small group stuck together night after night. But people didn't just endure those hours. They filled them, fixing tools, sewing, carving, twisting cord, and talking. A 2014 study of the Jew/hoansi in the Kalahari found that after dark, conversation shifted almost entirely from practical talk to stories, songs, and ritual. Around that fire is where knowledge passed to the next generation, where the same stories got retold until they became culture itself. Zoom out and the pattern is obvious. The cold forced the invention of sewn clothing. The scarcity of caves forced real architecture. The seasonal food gap forced preservation and storage. And the long, dark nights forged a huge share of what we now call human culture. Winter didn't just fail to wipe us out. It built the tools, the buildings, and the stories that made us who we are. One brutal season at a time, so that you, turning a dial in a warm room, would never have to know what it cost.